So, hello and welcome. This is the third edition of the StackRox community meeting since we open sourced. The docs I linked in the chat. David, if you need me to copy and paste again, I can do it. Matthias and I guess I should probably introduce myself for people who don't know. Community chair Mike Foster, and this is my co-community chair Matthias as well. In the doc, you will see all of the information that you need, including our community charter and just all the links that you need to get started with the project. Post that again. So for the meeting today, we have an agenda, 4 kind of topics that we wanted to go through. Then we wanted to open the floor and give a shout out to our RoxStar. RoxStars of the month, possibly. So wanted to kick it off, Matthias. We had a new release, 3.70 was released.
Yes, so 3.70 brought some, I would say smaller or medium changes that are also very much quality of life. So what we introduced are 2 things. For anyone on the call, the links point to YouTube videos of a colleague of us introducing and showing off the features. So if you're interested, follow the links, have a look. There is a visual demo of the things. So what did we actually add? We have 2 things, which is a policy creation for network policies. So you are now able to actually create system policies to require network policies. So for example, you can define a system policy that requires every deployment to have at least one ingress network policy, which in turn ends up enabling you. So we ship a new default policy, but this default policy is currently deactivated. So it's not active. If you're interested in using this new feature, you have to activate this, or either build your own or activate the one that we ship out of the box. We didn't activate it because that would probably lead to a lot of noise in a lot of freshly updated customer environments. The other thing that we introduced, which is kind of nice, is the support for cosign in image signing. So we are now able, or you as a user are now able to make use of image signing and verify this. So you can actually have policies to only allow specific signed images or images signed by a specific key. So you could even restrict your scope to images that were signed with a specific key, which is kind of nice. And accompanying the new release, we now also published our open source, so StackRox images to Quay.io, StackRox.io. So to our public Quay.io, you are now able to actually download and use, let's call them release tagged images.
Yeah, before there was just a big hash, I believe, on those tagged images, right?
Before we had basically nightly builds of our master. Yes.
Yeah, which is awesome. And if for those following along in that document, there are 2 YouTube videos actually that 2 of our essays created. So if you wanted to take a look at what those features look like and be a little more hands-on with them, there's links to those videos in the document. And along with that, we have a Helm chart update that Matthias, you and a couple of colleagues have been working on.
Right. So this actually our team together with a colleague I set up, which is we now have actual Helm charts for our open source release flavor. So that means not only have we published release tagged images on Quay.io, you now have Helm charts that you can actually use to basically install and then modify all your StackRox installations out there. So this comes with all the benefits that Helm has, as in you have defined states, you can roll back, you can upgrade, and it's just nice to have that. And we published these Helm charts on GitHub, as well as added them to Artifact Hub, which is basically a search engine for Helm charts. The publishing to Artifact Tab is a little bit rough around the edges right now. We need to clean up some old readmes and some old information in there, but that's a task that we'll follow up within the next weeks.
Awesome. Yeah, and speaking of documentation, so we need to update the README on the GitHub site with that new Helm chart edition. Along with that, once that gets pushed later in the week, I'm going to sort of push a breakdown of everything StackRox has been vetted to run on the open source version. Now, obviously, the open source isn't supported anyway, but it is really nice to know exactly what we vetted and what we haven't vetted. And along, I'll probably put a call to action in case somebody runs across a new distribution, they want to test it out. We would love to get feedback. If you're going to go run on like IBM Z or something like that, or a different, or K3s, you know, what did you have to change to make it work, etc. That would be awesome. So yeah, and then eventually we have all that information collected. We want to create sort of a, you know, MK docs documentation site for getting started, because I know people don't really like readmes that much, and I don't blame you. They are not fun. And yeah, so that's for updates on our side. Now, we did have a little operator discussion that got brought up last month that we wanted to broach again. So Matthias, you want to maybe break down what we were thinking in terms of contribution to set up for the open source K8 operator?
Yeah, so the current situation is that, or in general, operators are just a pleasure to use. So it would be nice to have them for the open source flavor. Currently, we only have them for ACS, and we support them for ACS. And what we could do now is our ACS operator is, as far as I know, also based on the Helm charts, which means now that we have open source Helm charts, we could also port the operator to use open source, basically the open source images, and have an open source StackRox operator. As the problem with that is we as ACS team don't have the customer demand for that, so it's a little bit hard for us to sell that to PM and management to actually invest the engineering time into that. So what we would do is we would like to open that for contributions. So we will create an issue and then open that for community contributions. So if anyone in the audience, or generally maybe watching that later on YouTube, if anyone is interested in actually taking up the work and porting the operator to use the open source Helm charts, feel free to do so. We'll have an issue ready that you can take over and start working on it. And obviously, we will be there to support, for support and questions, either in these community meetings or on the CNCF Slack in the StackRox channel. But again, I think it's a little bit hard for us to do some official engineering for that. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. So I think for the operator, the update is we're going to open up an issue, sort of describe, I think, what we were looking to achieve in terms of porting it over from the Helm chart, and leave it up to contribution from open source or any engineer who's got extra time. Cough, cough, Neil, if you want to do it. Just kidding. But yeah, we'd love it if we could get a K8 operator up and running. Any questions on that before we open the floor? Take that as a no. Sweet. So yeah, just to finish it up, hoping to keep this a short session. Just wanted to open the floor. Questions, comments, concerns, issues that anybody's run into with deployment. Yeah, feel free to voice your opinion. I think I saw Shuba go off mute there.
No, I'm good, Mike.
All right, perfect. Cool. Well, that keeps it really short and sweet. If anything does pop up, again, the Slack channel, you can also, put something in this doc and tag us as well. We monitor this doc pretty religiously. And then for the fun thing, because it's a short little session, everybody, so we actually have two RoxStars, Edvin and Michael, who have been extremely useful in terms of on Slack and GitHub, opening pull requests and issues. So we wanted to send some merch their way. And the other thing too is we want to send everybody in this call some StackRox swag. So thanks for coming out. I'll be pinging all of you individually. And so a nice sweatshirt, a tumbler are going to be coming your way. Neil, you picked a perfect session to join. Now he ran off to get lunch.
No, I actually had my mouth full. I was just musing that I do in fact have ACS swag already, and pre-acquisition StackRox.
Yeah, now you got the new open source StackRox swag. It looks pretty similar, but it's better. Awesome. But yeah, thanks everyone. Again, the recording is going to be up on YouTube either later today or tomorrow, and I'll ping all of you on Slack individually. Hopefully everybody's in the StackRox channel. That'll be easiest. If you're not, you can email me, mfoster@redhat.com, or join the Slack channel. That'd be easiest. But yeah, thanks for joining, and look forward to seeing you next month.